What if just a handful of the right foods could lower your blood sugar, protect your heart, calm inflammation, and even help rebuild damaged nerves, all without medication? In this video, we reveal 3 underrated nuts that most people ignore, yet they work quietly behind the scenes to support insulin sensitivity, repair diabetic damage, and reduce A1C over time. We'll also share one powerful pro tip for each, so you can unlock even more benefits with every bite. Stay with me, because the last one might completely change the way you think about fat and diabetes. First on list, macadamia nuts. They're buttery, rich, and often considered indulgent. But macadamia nuts are far more than just a luxurious treat. For people living with diabetes, these creamy, round nuts offer a surprisingly powerful set of metabolic benefits that go far beyond their flavor. While they may not be as commonly discussed as almonds or walnuts, macadamias have a unique nutritional profile that makes them one of the best-kept secrets for managing blood sugar, reducing inflammation, and protecting against diabetic complications. And when used wisely, they can become a daily ally in restoring metabolic balance. Let's start with the numbers. 1 ounce of macadamia nuts, about 10 to 12 whole nuts, contains 204 calories, 21 grams of fat, 2 grams of protein, and just 3.9 grams of total carbohydrates. Thanks to 2.4 grams of fiber, the net carbs per serving come down to a low 1.5 grams. Their glycemic index is close to 0, and their glycemic load per ounce is under 1, making them one of the safest nuts for blood sugar control. That means they can be eaten without causing a spike in glucose levels, even in those with insulin resistance or advanced type 2 diabetes. In one study, adults who consumed macadamia nuts daily for just 4 weeks saw improved insulin sensitivity and reduced fasting glucose, even without changing their total calorie intake. But the true strength of macadamias lies in their fat content. Over 80% of their fat is monounsaturated, primarily in the form of oleic and palmitoleic acids. Oleic acid is the same heart-protective fat found in olive oil, while palmitoleic acid is a rare omega-7 fatty acid shown to improve insulin sensitivity, reduce liver fat, and support glucose metabolism. In fact, some research suggests that omega-7s may directly reduce inflammation in fat cells and improve the function of insulin receptors, making macadamias uniquely beneficial for addressing the root causes of type 2 diabetes. And they don't stop there. Macadamia nuts are also rich in manganese, about 58% of the daily value per ounce, a mineral essential for glucose metabolism, collagen formation, and antioxidant enzyme function. You're also getting small but meaningful amounts of thiamine, vitamin B1, magnesium, iron, copper, and phosphorus. This combination supports mitochondrial energy production, blood vessel integrity, and nerve health, 3 areas commonly damaged in diabetes. The thiamine content in particular helps reduce the risk of diabetic neuropathy by supporting nerve conduction and protecting the myelin sheath. Pro tip: for a blood sugar-friendly snack that also reduces cravings and supports energy, eat 6 to 8 macadamia nuts between meals, ideally in the afternoon when blood sugar dips and hunger hits hardest. Their dense, satisfying fat content helps stabilize glucose for hours while keeping your appetite in check, reducing the temptation to reach for high-carb snacks. Fun fact: macadamia nuts are one of the only nuts with more monounsaturated fat than olive oil, making them a fat-focused superfood in disguise. Macadamias are also deeply anti-inflammatory. Their high content of monounsaturated fat, coupled with antioxidants like tocotrienols, a potent form of vitamin E, helps reduce markers of systemic inflammation such as CRP and IL-6. That's critical for diabetics, since chronic inflammation is what drives insulin resistance and damages blood vessels, kidneys, and nerves. In one human study, adding macadamia nuts to a moderate fat diet significantly improved lipid profiles, lowered LDL cholesterol, and reduced oxidative stress, all without affecting body weight. And when it comes to heart health, macadamias deliver on all fronts. They've been shown to reduce total cholesterol and triglycerides while increasing HDL cholesterol, the kind that helps remove plaque from arteries. Their potassium and magnesium content also support healthy blood pressure, making them ideal for diabetics at risk of cardiovascular disease. What makes them unique is their extremely low omega-6 content, which keeps the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in check, a key factor in reducing silent inflammation. Nerve protection is another benefit that often goes unnoticed. Diabetic neuropathy, tingling, pain, or numbness in the hands and feet, is driven by oxidative damage, poor blood flow, and nerve sheath degradation. The healthy fats, B vitamins, and antioxidants in macadamias help rebuild nerve insulation, improve microcirculation, and enhance mitochondrial repair within damaged nerve cells. Over time, this may help relieve symptoms and slow the progression of nerve deterioration. Now let's bust a common myth. Many people think macadamias are too fatty or too high calorie to be part of a diabetic diet. But the truth is, the type of fat matters far more than the amount. Macadamias are low in carbs, low in omega-6, and high in the very fats that support metabolic healing. When eaten in proper portions, they don't cause weight gain. They actually support satiety and improve fat-burning metabolism. It's not about eating less, it's about eating smarter. So what's the right portion? For most people with diabetes, 1 ounce per day, around 10 to 12 nuts, is the sweet spot. That's enough to support blood sugar, heart, and nerve health without overdoing calories. Choose raw or dry roasted macadamias without added oils or salt. You can blend them into a creamy macadamia nut butter, chop them into salads, add them to chia pudding, or even crush them over roasted vegetables for a buttery crunch that stabilizes your metabolism. If you're living with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes, macadamia nuts aren't just safe, they're strategically healing. Delicious, dense, and deeply therapeutic, macadamias prove that fat, when it's the right kind, is not your enemy. It's part of the cure. That's impressive, but this next nut might surprise you the most. It's smaller, lighter, and yet it targets blood sugar, appetite, inflammation, and nerve damage all at once, making it one of the smartest additions to any diabetic diet. Second on list, pine nuts. They're small, buttery, and often overlooked. But pine nuts may be one of the most powerful metabolic allies for people managing diabetes. These tiny seeds harvested from pine cones aren't just for pesto. Behind their rich texture lies a potent blend of nutrients that help stabilize blood sugar, reduce inflammation, protect nerves, and improve heart health. For diabetics seeking natural ways to repair the silent damage caused by high blood sugar, pine nuts deliver a unique combination of healing fats, minerals, and antioxidants, all in a spoon-sized portion. Let's start with the numbers. 1 ounce of pine nuts, about 160 kernels, contains 191 calories, 19 grams of fat, 4 grams of protein, and just 3.7 grams of total carbohydrates. Thanks to 1 gram of fiber, the net carbs are around 2.7 grams per serving. Their glycemic index is extremely low, close to 0, and their glycemic load is just 1 per ounce, meaning they have a negligible effect on blood glucose. But the real power of pine nuts lies not in their carb content, but in their impact on the endocrine, digestive, and nervous systems, 3 of the most critical areas damaged in diabetes. One of the key nutrients found in pine nuts is magnesium, 71 milligrams per ounce, about 17% of the daily value. That's critical because magnesium supports over 300 enzyme reactions in the body, including those involved in insulin function and blood sugar regulation. Diabetics are often deficient in magnesium, and restoring it through foods like pine nuts can help improve insulin sensitivity, reduce fasting glucose, and support healthier A1C levels. You're also getting meaningful amounts of zinc, iron, phosphorus, vitamin K, and vitamin E, all essential for cellular repair and immune function in people with type 2 diabetes. In fact, in one small clinical study, participants who consumed pine nut oil 30 minutes before eating experienced a 36% reduction in calorie intake and significantly fewer blood sugar spikes after meals. That's powerful metabolic support from a food most people ignore. But pine nuts contain something most other nuts don't: phenolenic acid. This rare omega-6 fatty acid, unique to pine nuts, has been shown to stimulate the release of 2 key appetite-regulating hormones: cholecystokinin, CCK, and glucagon-like peptide 1, GLP-1. These hormones slow down gastric emptying, enhance satiety, and help reduce post-meal glucose surges. For diabetics, this means fewer cravings, better appetite control, and more stable energy throughout the day. At the same time, pine nuts deliver a steady dose of healthy fats and fiber that nourish the gut. Their prebiotic compounds feed good bacteria, helping to reduce gut inflammation, improve insulin signaling, and support blood sugar regulation from the inside out. An often overlooked but critical part of diabetes management. Pine nuts are also cardioprotective, an essential benefit for anyone managing diabetes. They contain monounsaturated fats like oleic acid, which help lower LDL cholesterol and raise HDL. Their vitamin K content supports arterial flexibility, and their antioxidants, especially lutein and tocopherols, help prevent oxidative damage to blood vessels. Over time, this reduces the risk of complications like diabetic vasculopathy and cardiovascular disease, which remain leading causes of death in people with type 2 diabetes. And for those experiencing nerve-related symptoms like tingling, burning, or numbness in the feet or hands, pine nuts may offer relief. Their magnesium and vitamin E support nerve sheath integrity and improve microcirculation, helping to repair nerve tissues quietly over time. Pro tip: for a blood sugar-friendly way to add pine nuts to your meals, toast 1 tablespoon about zero point 0.5 ounces and sprinkle them over a warm salad, steamed vegetables, or blend them into a low-carb pesto sauce with basil, garlic, and olive oil. This adds texture, flavor, and therapeutic fats to your plate without any glucose spike. Beyond the body, pine nuts also support the brain. For diabetics struggling with brain fog, low energy, or difficulty focusing, the iron, magnesium, and polyunsaturated fats in pine nuts help deliver oxygen and nutrients to the brain while reducing neuroinflammation. Regular consumption may enhance memory, focus, and mental clarity, making pine nuts one of the smartest foods you can eat in every sense of the word. And here's a surprising fun fact. It can take up to 18 months for a pine cone to fully mature and release the seeds that become edible pine nuts. That long wait and labor-intensive harvesting process is why pine nuts are one of the most valuable nuts in the world, ounce for ounce. Now let's address a common concern. Some people report a temporary bitter or metallic taste after eating pine nuts, a condition known as pine mouth. While rare and harmless, it's best avoided by sourcing high-quality, fresh pine nuts and sticking to a daily portion of 1 ounce or less. And if you have nut allergies or experience any unusual reactions, always consult your doctor first. Moderation and mindfulness make pine nuts a safe and powerful addition to your diabetic nutrition plan. So what's the ideal serving? For most people with diabetes, 0.5 to 1 ounce per day is perfect, about 1 to 2 tablespoons. Because they're rich in therapeutic fats and appetite-suppressing compounds, you don't need a large amount to see real results. Choose raw or dry-roasted pine nuts with no added salt or oil and store them in the fridge to preserve freshness and prevent rancidity. By the way, where are you watching from? We'd love to know which part of the world you're tuning in from. Drop your country or city in the comments below. Now let's move on to the next powerful nut that deserves a spot in every diabetic-friendly pantry. Third on list, hazelnuts. They're often associated with chocolate spreads and desserts, but hazelnuts, when eaten whole and unprocessed, are one of the most therapeutic and blood sugar-friendly nuts for people with diabetes. Behind their subtly sweet crunch lies a powerhouse of nutrients that help regulate glucose levels, protect the heart, nourish the nervous system, and reduce the silent inflammation that drives diabetic complications. They may be overlooked compared to almonds or walnuts. But if you're managing type 2 diabetes or prediabetes, hazelnuts deserve a permanent spot in your daily nutrition plan. Let's begin with the numbers. 1 ounce of hazelnuts, about 21 whole nuts, contains 178 calories, 17 grams of fat, 4.2 grams of carbohydrates, 2.7 grams of fiber, and 4.2 grams of protein. That brings the net carbs down to just 1.5 grams per ounce, making them one of the lowest net carb nuts available. Their glycemic index is extremely low, estimated between 10 and 15, and the glycemic load per ounce is under 1. This means hazelnuts have almost no impact on blood sugar, making them an ideal snack or ingredient for stabilizing glucose and reducing post-meal insulin surges. But the benefits of hazelnuts go well beyond glucose control. They are a rich source of monounsaturated fats, especially oleic acid, the same heart-healthy fat found in olive oil. These fats help reduce LDL cholesterol, increase HDL, and improve arterial flexibility, which is critical for diabetics who face a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular disease. In one clinical study, people with type 2 diabetes who consumed hazelnuts daily for 12 weeks experienced a 0.5% drop in HbA1c, a significant reduction in LDL cholesterol, and lower inflammation markers, without making any other changes to their diet or gaining weight. That kind of improvement speaks to the quiet but powerful role hazelnuts play in reversing metabolic damage. Hazelnuts are also packed with vitamin E, about 4.3 milligrams per ounce, which is nearly 30% of the daily value. Vitamin E plays a key role in protecting nerve cells from oxidative damage, making it especially important for preventing or slowing diabetic neuropathy. But there's more. Hazelnuts are a source of thiamine, also known as vitamin B1. This vitamin is essential for proper nerve conduction and energy metabolism, and it plays a direct role in protecting against diabetic nerve damage. People with long-standing type 2 diabetes often become deficient in thiamine, which contributes to symptoms like burning, tingling, or numbness in the extremities. Replenishing it through foods like hazelnuts can support long-term nerve repair and relief. You're also getting manganese, magnesium, copper, and other B vitamins, all essential for insulin signaling, metabolic function, and vascular repair. Hazelnuts contain L-arginine as well, an amino acid that boosts nitric oxide production, helping improve circulation and reduce the risk of diabetic complications affecting the heart, brain, kidneys, and limbs. Pro tip: for a blood sugar-friendly way to enjoy hazelnuts, eat 10 to 12 raw or dry roasted nuts between meals, especially during mid-afternoon dips. Their dense fat and protein content helps flatten glucose curves and curb hunger, while their natural sweetness satisfies cravings without spiking blood sugar. You can also grind them into homemade hazelnut butter or mix them into a chia pudding for a nutrient-rich, diabetic-safe dessert. Hazelnuts also support gut health and hormone balance. Their combination of prebiotic fiber and healthy fats feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which in turn help reduce systemic inflammation and regulate blood sugar. Hazelnuts also support the production of satiety hormones like peptide YY and GLP-1, which help reduce appetite, stabilize energy, and prevent overeating, an often overlooked but critical factor in reversing insulin resistance. And their benefits extend to the brain. Diabetics often experience brain fog, mood swings, or memory lapses due to glucose fluctuations and inflammation. The vitamin E, folate, thiamine, and healthy fats in hazelnuts nourish brain cells, protect against neurodegeneration, and support sharper cognition. In fact, research shows that regular hazelnut consumption is associated with better memory performance and lower levels of age-related cognitive decline. Now let's clear up a myth. Some believe hazelnuts are too fatty or too rich to be part of a diabetic diet. But the truth is, these fats are exactly what your body needs to heal. The monounsaturated fats in hazelnuts reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and help repair damaged tissues from the inside out. When consumed in the right portion, they don't cause weight gain. They actually support fat burning and long-term metabolic control. Fun fact: hazelnuts are one of the oldest cultivated nuts in the world, dating back over 9,000 years. Ancient cultures prized them not only for their flavor, but for their medicinal and energy-giving properties. Today, modern science confirms what they already knew. Hazelnuts are a potent food for health and longevity, especially for those managing chronic conditions like diabetes. What's the ideal serving? Stick to about 1 ounce per day, roughly 21 whole hazelnuts, which provides the perfect balance of nutrients without excess calories. Choose raw or dry roasted varieties with no added sugar or oils. Avoid chocolate-coated or sweetened hazelnut products, which often undo the nut's natural benefits. Store them in a cool, dry place, or better yet, refrigerate them to preserve freshness and prevent the delicate oils from going rancid. So, if you're managing type 2 diabetes, hazelnuts are far more than a snack. They're a nutrient-dense healing tool. Final thought. Each of these three nuts offers more than just a snack. They offer therapeutic nutrition that works meal after meal to help heal what diabetes breaks down. When used the right way, they help stabilize blood sugar, protect your organs, calm cravings, and nourish your nerves. If you're finding value in this content, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. And let us know in the comments how you're managing your health. We'd love to hear from you.